Jawohl, jetzt können wir schon mal ein bisschen starten.
Now let's get
Das Thema
started.
Safety
first.
gestern,
This
heute und
topic
morgen.
is something that I've just mentioned in my previous sentence. So it's all about safely leaving a room, for example, in an incident. So for us as safety engineers, it's important to keep your safety and health in mind as an equally important aspect when it comes to companies and the resources we dedicate to certain topics. This is the overview yesterday and today. So we will look back at what happened in the past. We will take a closer look at what was done in the past. The so-called technical groups and also the international group is something I need to talk about. This was implemented and they did a great job as well. The topic of today, I'll shortly talk about that today, and then I will be talking about tomorrow, so new and remaining requirements for the futures. So therefore, now I'd like to point out that in the past we've had regular VGB conferences and also occupational safety in power plants was important. So you can see that right here on this example that I've put up on the slide that this is pretty old. Back in the 90s, we've implemented other steps, and VGB was looking at these topics also in the 90s. So, industrial safety and health protections are of concern to all of us. Then 1996 was a rough cut. The health protection law was adopted, and I will be talking about that in a minute. 1999, this work was continued in respective conferences, and then there was a new design as seen here on the right hand side. So industrial safety and health protections, they were included in this technical group, and this was at A&A, this was done, and this was done in joint effort with the professional associations. So therefore, thank you for the kind support also received by the professional associations and the effort that they put in order to forward this entire topic. Ladies and gentlemen, asbestos dust and deadly occupational diseases is something that we've seen for decades. 1979, 10 employees of an insulation company died over the course of 1 year. There was a ban for asbestos was implemented. We talked about this, and all the staff were made aware of these hazardous substances. This is just one example. Asbestos for many different hazardous substances. The topic of mask requirements today, of course, in everybody's mind, but back then it was also a thing. So the systematic exchange of insulation and materials that contain asbestos was also something that was very important. In 1993, asbestos was banned. VGB did that. VGB actually looked at this point. There was a training course that was implemented in order to safely work with these insulation materials, also in electro technology and other areas of work. And we had to train people in order to do that rightly and properly. 1995,
1995 ist uns zu diesem Thema gelungen, die Berufsgenossenschaften dazu bewegen, dass auch regelmäßige nachgehende Vorsorgeuntersuchungen für ausgeschiedene Mitarbeiter angeboten und durchgeführt wurden.
Preventive examinations for employees who had left the company and who've dealt with materials containing asbestos for years. And we are still implementing this. Unfortunately, in the area of the professional occupations ETEM, we still have more than 1,000 of different health conditions that are brought about by asbestos. So 5,000 years ago, 5 years ago it was 1,000, and so we need to improve more on that. We will talk about this. As of 2022, new EU limit values for asbestos will be implemented in the workplace, and these things will be also implemented for the strategy for safety health at work. at the European level. How did the asbestos training look like? Now, this red leaflet is something that you do remember. We've trained hundreds of employees on how to safely remove packaging, insulation material. So this is small works, but they had to do it properly. They had to do it with dusting machines, with vacuuming machines, etc. And they had to do the work just right. So 1996. Back then we had a big Congress, 25 years since the Occupational Safety Act. We were strengthening the employer's personal responsibility and duties, and everybody screamed out about it, but this was something that we needed to implement. And so there we had these assessments for risk, so the responsibility and the duties for employees was strengthened, and they were made aware of these aspects in order to avoid dangerous situations. These dangerous situations needed to be recognized and properly dealt with. So the objective was to implement these health and safety measures in all companies. In 1973, the work safety law was implemented. Because these work committees in which employees were participating and also physicians were participating, and they implemented these changes. As the work councils also supported us, they are still supporting us, and so therefore I'd like to thank them for the joint effort that they've put in across number of different locations and companies to establish these work and health safety committees. A lot of work went into that, as so SARS-CoV-2 was of course very important in the past, and a lot of information was forwarded. With VGB PowerTech, of course, we came up with brochures, and we had to VGB PowerTech was able to talk about these safety issues with the work councils and professional associations. The continuous further development of this topic is something that we still do in North Rhine-Westphalia. 3 years ago, we've had a walkthrough in these companies. After 25 years, there are still 20% of our companies who don't have an adequate safety monitoring. So I can exclude that from member companies of VGBE, but we've just heard it. The award for health and safety is very important, because the companies that are members of us are trained, schooled, and then also accompanied as they go forward with implementing these health and safety aspects. So when fighting the pandemic, we were able to use these platforms to cope with the pandemic, and they are part and parcel of the health and safety requirements implemented. Working in power plants, BG ETEM and VGB PowerTech created a brochure in October of 1998. This was handed out to all our colleagues, and this was done through VGB PowerTech. So almost 20 years, it's 19 years, but I wrote actually 20 years since the Industrial Safety Act 2002. Here, this point, co-creation of the Industrial Safety Act with a strong participation by the VGB PowerTech committees. We've worked these texts over in close collaboration with the ministries. We were able to do that. We talked about the basis for the use of working tools and materials and the systematic improvement of occupational safety in all companies. The Product Safety Act on the 27th of July 2021, CE conformity, was also important, and I still would like to play the drums for that, so that VGBE supports this and supports the VGB PowerTech representatives in the Committee for Occupational Safety, ABIs and workgroups, and we still need to do that as we go into the future, because this is an overarching, very important task that VGB PowerTech has actually done a great job at. Ladies and gentlemen, 2009. Measurement of mineral dust at individual workplaces. This was a joint effort yet again. The second launch of this measurement was done with VGB-Etem and VGB-Powertech measurement series was done in all these different places in 20 power plants spread out across the entire Republic of Germany, where we had these measurements implemented because these dusts go into the lung and at the same time may cause cancer as they contain more quartz. And so this was also something that we implemented. The facilities were measured and it was confirmed that the adherence to these safety requirements was done by sticking to safe and healthy health requirements. So here, occupation health and safety rules for thermal power plants and heating plants is also something that we did, and it was something that we reworked a number of times. It's currently being reworked. This shows the basis of what needs to be implemented in a mutual understanding and shared responsibility between the company and its employees. BG campaigns, the GDA strategy, the joint and the occupational health and safety management systems. Those 3 points are the points that brought us forward greatly so, and they will do that in the future too. So therefore I'm yet again advertising for your collaboration. So there are safety campaigns, for example, get rid of the risk. This campaign that was run across the entire power industry. So think of me. Think of me and keep your own back in your mind. So there are different of these pilot projects, so they can be implemented across the different companies. Who is working in power plants needs to take a closer look at the topic of ergonomic workplace management, and this is the back injuries and back conditions are very much at the focus. Then there's another campaign, come along with people in order to actually pick up all the different people and to give them some impetus. So then also occupational safety management system, ORIS, which was implemented in Bavaria. When I talk about OSHA yet again, the management system that was reworked in 2007, and globally it was known, these management systems from the petrochemical industry, SCC, the system for contractors, and also the topic of employers, ELO guidelines and e-management system, safe is safe. So here the white system shown here in white. VGB-Powertech also implemented a management system on the topic of industrial safety and health protection. I am advertising yet again to continue this work, because this effort is all about, as heard in the very name of it, that we work on behalf of companies in order to qualify, train and certify those employees that they can actually work safely in their companies. And so here we are also looking all the way down to the smallest companies who are working in this industry, and we must apply these safety regulations that are capable and in conformity with the requirements of this industry. The Common German Occupational Safety Strategy, GDA, was implemented in 2008 together with all the different workers' councils, representatives of the federal states, etc. So now we are in the third legislative period, so 6 to 7 years is one period. We're working all the different topics now. Here, Vision Zero, back in 2017, this was one of the very first global surveillance or monitoring or training possibilities. It was implemented back then for the companies and BGR, C7 and the DGUV with the work councils and other committees was making a huge difference here. Last but not least, implemented in 2018, the ISO 45001, and this is the introduction of the first global HS management system. 9000 ISO is the predecessor to that, and we've just talked about it, and 1400 ISO environmental protection. All of these closely work together, are intertwined, and so therefore we are internationally acting, we are globally acting, and this is our standard that is applicable to all the different sites when we implement a management system. Now, let's talk about the Vision Zero. These are the basic aspects when it comes to Vision Zero. Vision Zero is available in a number of different questions here, German, English, and Spanish. In South America, it's also spoken, of course, and it's applicable also there. So these 7 golden rules can be checked and verified by each company, and there's less effort for them to find answers, to find out where is it that they are currently standing at when it comes to work and safety and health. And also here, so in 2021, 2027, the WHO is also replying on that. There's a zero approach for deadly accidents. There are too many fatal accidents in Europe, not necessarily in our industry, but we do have it in Europe, and we need to focus on this Vision Zero also on the European level. So therefore, up to date, a very current topic. Thank you to the presenters, VGB Power Plants. It was just published in August 2021. This was adopted by a German statutory accident insurance. It's about on and offshore wind turbines, and risk assessment that can be done here. More up to date is not available currently. Now, where is it that we are standing at? A few topics on that. So here, this is the numbers that we can see here. The first incident or accident is done after 3 days. We do it as of 1 day with a lost time injury frequency. But so the numbers of accidents per million of working hours in the industry at the Workers' Council that is responsible for us, and this was brought down by 17.5%. The companies associated with VGB have different numbers, much better numbers, and as of 1 day work lost. So we are between 1.7 to 5 accidents per million working hours. We can still tweak these numbers, and I think we jointly can. How to do it? Now here, this work safety is something that is worthwhile if we all work together. Now I'd like to inform all of you, because this is something that we lose our sight of, because we were able to achieve this with the Compulsory Insurance Association. We were able to achieve that 70% of the costs were reduced in 2007. Contribution was €1.33 per 100 euro of salary amount. That was the baseline in 2007. Now we are talking about 70 cents for the same baseline. So therefore here you can see that industrial safety is worth the expense. Now, the GDR, the joint German safety period, 21 to 27, envisions that 270 business sites are visited together with the state institutions who monitor us and survey us, together with the compulsory insurance associations, and we all pull on one string. So GDR and the effort that was done to mitigate the crisis for the SARS-CoV-2, and this is also something that we've done in this very period. So work safety, law and assessment of these risks, etc. All of these things are something we also need when we look at the pandemic, and these things must be implemented at the factories, not in society. Ladies and gentlemen, 2 points on that. The work philosophy Bradley was doing this. I will be talking about 4-step programs. I will show you the best steps. I follow the rules because I must. This helps us to have safe work environments for our colleagues. It's better, however, to say I follow the rules because I choose to follow them. And here, strengthening personal responsibility of employees, if I do that, then it's a good effort. And also the forward-looking joint planning in teams for all works and for the termination of work in the event of a potential hazard or in the event of unclear situation, something that has to happen here must not be prescribed by somebody who's at the management level. So they cannot actually in that management level claim that the employee has done something wrongly, but we still need to focus on this. This is a main topic. So we need to be helpful. Everybody can be assisting and everybody can make a difference when they follow these rules because they want to. In that effort they also support others because they help them, because they have some knowledge and because they bear some more responsibility and because they can provide some consultation on the topic. Where are we currently standing? What are we, VGBE, looking for? What is desirable? What we've done over the last decades, this open communication across all of VGB's boards, technical groups, ITCs, etc. This is immensely important for health and environmental protection. Everybody of us was able to openly talk about what has happened and which measurements were implemented. Now this is something that was broadly distributed throughout the entire community, and every one of us was able to learn from these lessons, and I wish that this is continued as we go into the future and that we see a continued success as we implement this. Now, some parts now forwarding information so as to better things, improve things, that's also something that we need to do. We need to focus on what has been done right, what has worked. Every company may do this differently, but it is a very important aspect we need to do across a number of different companies. The collaboration with the EU level, with the different boards, and when it comes to that, the company management must make the resources available, also when it comes to the time that they allot to their employees to accompany that and to design this. The joint effort and to closely collaborate with one another is very important. So here, these experts are available, companies must talk with one another, and all of this is something that we need to see implemented in our everyday lives. And to broaden the topic of work and health and safety, that's another topic. I've shown you these brochures, and hydrogen, of course, is a topic that we will be talking about later today. Ladies and gentlemen, now talking about tomorrow, the upcoming 6 or 7 years, the EU strategy for industrial safety and health protection is published. There are 3 core topics: anticipating and coping with the change in a new environmental and workplace. So this is correlating with Industry 4.0. These challenges that we need to master in these areas that we're expecting. The second point of the EU strategy, improving the situation of work accidents and health conditions. So we've just talked about asbestos. Now this Vision Zero approach of EU means that there are less fatal accidents. Now a third focal point, better preparation for potential health hazards. Here we are talking first and foremost about the consequences of SARS-CoV-2 and what is a lesson learned from that pandemic, because there may be other pandemics, and also this will be implemented by the EU strategy 2021-2027. Now these different works of working with the different laws and requirements that need to be implemented and adhered to in Germany will also be compatible with home office, mobile working, and so also here we need to put our focus, and in the future we need to tackle those questions directly, namely because the world of work will be subject to change. Now,
Meine sehr geehrten Damen und Herren, zusammengefasst,
this
Zukunft tomorrow
is the future. The employees are at the center in this triangle. So here we can see that we have SGA organizations that are suitable to introduce and implement and jointly further develop these topics, and these management systems must be filled with life. Responsibility must be spread across a number of different shoulders, and I would like to have a safe workplace because I desire it. So therefore, independent and responsible conduct is something that is very important, ladies and gentlemen, something that's very important to me. It's not only because my daughter is currently undergoing professional training, but the future of tomorrow is about accepting the responsibility for the upcoming generation. And we've seen, this is from BGE Team Calendar 2021, this picture right here. So it's not about the established employees, it's also about the new employees who are undergoing their professional training. This is important to protect them, and they bring new ideas as they fledge their wings and come into new companies. So use that, seize the opportunity to talk about these things and play the ball on. Ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, I'd like now to thank you from the bottom of my heart, because at the end of this year I will end my professional life, I will be a pensioner. However, if you do have questions, I'm more than happy to speak with you. So right now, of course, a traditional German Glück auf from me.
Dankeschön.